Next lot 61 is the Costin Nathan. I know a lot of you have been waiting for this particular vehicle to go under the hammer. The Costin Nathan. Do have an announcement. This applies to the people on the telephone as well as the people on the internet, and obviously for you ladies and gentlemen within the room. Roger Nathan is actually here.
I'm amazed at the interest in the car. I mean, as far as I was concerned, it was it is a wreck basically, and I thought nobody's going to want to be interested in that car. So I'm very surprised at that, but I mean, having come here and seen the interest, I'm really amazed.
18,000, 20,000 still with me on commission, I'm afraid, against you on the internet. 22,000, my commission's out at £22,000 with Will on the World Wide Web.
We met up with Frank Costin, and he became very interested in our lightweight imp engine that we were producing at the time. So Frank, being very much weight orientated, thought that was the ideal engine for his new sports car. Frank came rushing down with his son Ronnie the day before the preview with just a bare monocoque and chassis on wheels. It wasn't even painted. Worked all afternoon, all night on the car, had the painters in, got it on the trailer the sort of crack of dawn, drove it to central London and got it into the Dorchester Hotel with some difficulty through the back entrance. The paint was still drying. At the time we got in it was dry, and it looked fantastic. And that was the car that's here at the auction tonight.
34,000, still with Will on the internet at 34,000. 36,000, back in the room at £36,000 on the Costin Nathan.
It immediately won. It was fast, it broke that records wherever we went. But the best race was probably against the Works Fiat A-Bath at Montlhéry, the banked autodrome just outside Paris. And Johan Altner was their leading driver. And they were doing very well in the European Sports Car Championship. They wanted points. Of course, the points were no concern to me. I wanted to win the race to sell the cars. And went out to practice. Never driven on an autodrome before, a bank circuit, which was quite strange because the faster you go, the car tends to creep up the banking. Came back in the pits, told the mechanic to change the spring rates and put some different bump rubbers on, make one or two minor changes. Went out there when the car handled a lot better and wasn't bottoming, and it flew.
At £40,000 only bid in the room at 40,000, 42, internet bidder at 42, 44,000, still going in the room at £44,000. It's your bid, sir, at 44. 46, internet bidder.
The Fiat team manager, Senor Avidano, came over when we had the cover off after scrutineering, and he was talking in Italian to a colleague, and they were laughing. I was totally unknown on the continent, never driven overseas before, nobody knew me. He was an English driver with a wooden car he built himself, yes. With a little aluminium 1-litre engine against the might of Fiat A-Bath, and they just laughed at it. You know, he went out to practice. When it was sorted, which didn't take long, did a good time, came back into the pits. My agent, a nice old gentleman called Dr. Moloff, Mr. Nathan, he said, look at this. I said, what is it? He said, we've got fastest time.
55,000. On the telephone with Adam, £55,000 bid. 56 if you like, Nick. Bid at £56,000.
The A-Baths had more power than us, and they would out-drag me down the straight. But unless I got into this bend first, I'd have no chance. One of them would get in front of me, Orton would get in front in the lead, I couldn't get around them. Once they'd been through the first corner, they'd just pull away down the straight and I wouldn't catch them. So I had to get into that corner first, vital. Flag came down, made a good start, which I didn't always do. I made a good start, and being lighter than the Fiats, initially my acceleration was faster, so I got a slight lead. As we went up through the gears into third gear, and the speed built up to 100 plus, they began to overhaul me. And I could see we were approaching the bend, the first right-hand bend, and it was almost braking time. And I could see this from my periphery vision, my left eye, this A-Bath of Altner's overhauling me, and he actually got slightly in front. But we both left the braking too late. And all of a sudden, he'd gone. He put the brakes on. I went into the corner first, but far too quick. The back came out, and it came out, and I had this tremendous angle of drift, about 45 degrees of drift. I turned the wheel, I was on my fingertips, I couldn't get any more lock. I was tickling the throttle to try and keep the thing in balance and not lose it. At the same time, I glanced in the mirror just for a split second, and I saw all the cars behind the A-Bath, they'd all backed off slightly, because they could see a monumental accident going to happen. But I held it. I didn't come off. I put my foot down and I pulled away, and they'd backed off. They couldn't catch me then. I got into the next corner first and just pulled away thereafter. And we won outright.
with Will on the internet at £66,000. 70,000 with Adam on the telephone at 70,000. I'll still stay in £1,000 increments for the internet and the other telephones.
For the amount of interest I've seen, which, as I say, has amazed me, I think it's out of my league now. Sadly, I would love to do that. Great project.
On the World Wide Web, against you all in the room, against the battery of telephones that we've had, and I'm selling away. Outright sale then at £71,000, finishing done, ladies and gentlemen, at 71. Sold. Well done on the internet. A very warm and generous round of applause from everybody in the room. That was absolutely fantastic. Thanks very much indeed. And as I've said again, I'll just reiterate that Roger Nathan is only too pleased to help you out. And we look forward to seeing that being campaigned at various classic and historic events in